And we continue with our great American panel. All right, you said so it's a witch hunt that we're on about these czars. Right here, I have a question for you. If you have a guy that's our safe school czar, has a history of drug and alcohol abuse, that tells a sophomore in high school, when the sophomore says that he's having a sexual relationship with an older man, I hope you used a condom. When he praises a guy associated with the North American Man-Boy Love Association, Harry Hay. We now found out from WorldNet Daily this week that he was once a member of the radical group ACT UP. Are you saying that Sean Hannity is on a witch hunt when I think this man does not deserve that position?
I'm saying that I think a lot of those pieces that you just pulled deserve to be looked into, but that a lot of them aren't quite true. That sophomore boy, he was 16. That's the age of legal consent in Massachusetts, which is where he was. And I just don't understand why a conversation that happened 21 years ago is worth this type of introspection, because I would rather know what they're doing now than what they did then.
I'll tell you why. Because it's inappropriate for a school counselor to give that advice.
Well, look at what he's done. And the Obama administration, they've circumvented. If first you look at Jennings, his portfolio, it is a portfolio equal to that of an assistant secretary of education, but he's avoided any deep background search, Senate confirmation, no transformation, where a lot of this would have come out.
Well, here's the question to ask. Do you think in many school districts across America, a guy with that going on would be allowed to stay in the position? I know things have changed in public school, but I dare say in Scottsdale, Arizona, and around Arizona, a guy like that wouldn't be in a position.
Though. Here is Alicia, and you can defend yourself. The answer is, well, Kevin Jennings was the one who said the boy was 15, not Sean Hannity. He said it in his own words, but he was actually the legal age of consent. So that's the advice we're going to give to a sophomore in high school who's having a relationship with an adult?
It points out a classic problem. There is a difference between what may be legally correct or legally cognizant and what is morally correct. And to have a situation, a young student being told, Alicia, by a counselor, hey, that's cool, older guy, yeah, use a condom.
Whoa, that is not what he said.
Wait a minute, he said he smiled at me for 2 years afterwards, every time I saw him.
Listen, what I think, though, is that we would be much better served by you focusing on what they're doing now than who they were before they were in power.
These are decisions. He wrote the foreword for a book, Queering Elementary Education. Maybe you have a different point of view, but a lot of parents don't think that's good advice. How dare he think he can circumvent the value of parents and say, did you wear a condom? I'm glad you're happy.
53 congressmen today took a stand, and I hope that number grows in calling for his resignation.
But what I find interesting is that call was sounded by you in large part.
I'm proud of it.
But I think that's so interesting that we have elected officials who are taking their cues from cable news.
How many times do we see situations when John Dingell used to head the Energy and Commerce Committee, and the New York Times would report on something, and then those on the left would take a look? There's always a dynamic for action involving the media, which in the real world should be a watchdog rather than a lapdog. Sadly, we don't get it from the alphabet networks anymore.
Let me go President Obama. Now here Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid's in the 30s in his home state. The chances of him getting reelected are getting slimmer by the day.
He'll be fine.
I'll bet. How much do you want to bet?
I'm not a betting girl.
Harry Reid will lose.
All right. Well, I'll be honest.
$1,000 to your favorite charity.
Okay, done. And to yours.
And to mine.
Done.
Okay. Here it is. President Obama goes to San Francisco. Congress has a 21% approval rating. Here's what the president said about Pelosi.
Every day, she is subjected to constant criticism and griping. And then there's the other party with style and grace, but most importantly with steely determination. She does not back down. She is there doing battle each and every day on behalf of not only her constituency here in California, but people all across America who are looking for a fair shake.
I think that sends a message to the American people.
Oh, it really does. And it really says that Obama, Reid, and Pelosi are
What?
The Iron Triangle. They're carrying the full load for the left, and they're trying to undermine our market economy. They're trying to take over large segments of our economy.
We're short on time.
They're raising money, $34,000 a couple to that thing. Boy, a lot of people out of work could use that kind of dough going to Pelosi's campaign.
Lisa, last question.
Yeah.
Do you think Congress with the 21% approval rating, do you think the 40% of Americans that identify themselves conservative want her agenda?
No, absolutely not. But I also think that there are a lot of Republicans in Congress who have an even worse approval rating.
Not that bad. Not that bad. If this keeps up, I predict the Democrats are at risk of losing the House, especially if they continue on health care. Guys, great panel. Good to see you. Thank you all for being here.